Yeah, go for it.
My answer is no. No, on both counts.
Can't do that.
Don't play in MLS. Don't play Liga MX.
That's not the
Stay
question.
away. Stay away from the Americans.
Continuing with Rahi and Roy, I'm your host Sahil, of course. Our next topic is regarding, we have the Leagues Cup final coming up, and it happened to be two MLS teams, which of course is our beautiful league here in the US. Very dominant. Roy, of course, is a big fan. But this time around, the Mexican League teams, which normally produce good performances, did not get to the final. So, boys, what is happening? Is there a shift happening in the region in terms of the leagues?
What's Rocky doing?
And if you are a prospective U.S. men's national team player, where does it make more sense to play, in the MLS or Liga MX in Mexico, boys?
I am bracing for Rocky's hate speech right now. I'm getting a little nervous. I might just randomly log out of this chat if he says certain things that trigger me. So be prepared, guys.
He's proudly wearing some MLS stuff. I don't know.
He's wearing the funkiest looking hat. It's Kansas City Wizards, because he wants to make fun of the league.
Kansas City Wizards.
Terrible design, because he wants to make fun of the league. That's what he's doing.
I kind of like that design, frankly. It's a very catchy hat. It seems like something you'd wear in Silver Lake or the east side of Los Angeles. But
yes, cool town.
The hipster town. Yes.
Mount Washington. What are the other ones? Yeah.
Let's start with the facts, Roy. Shall we start with the facts?
Do whatever you want. Oh, God.
The Leagues Cup is the most important tournament in the world.
Okay,
fact,
that's a fact.
True or false? True or false?
True.
There are a few human beings that really care about the Leagues Cup. True or false?
Okay, there he goes.
There are a few. Not very many. And let me tell you, nobody, and I repeat, nobody in Mexico, 0 people know or care about the Leagues Cup. If you walk the streets of Mexico City, of Guadalajara, if you walk the streets and you ask them what the Leagues Cup is, Roy, their response would be, okay, what? The Leagues Cup?
Could not disagree.
Nobody cares about the Leagues Cup, my friend.
Nope.
Nobody cares about the Leagues Cup. It was created so that we could watch Inter Miami play more and that they could sell more Messi tickets. Oh, wait a second. Messi is injured. So now no one cares about the Leagues Cup. Honestly, the other thing, Roy, is where is the Leagues Cup played? What country is it played in?
Do you know what country it's played in?
Which country?
Your sarcastic questions.
Yes. It's played here in the U.S., right?
Yes.
No. Do any MLS teams go to play in Mexico? Does that happen during the Leagues Cup, Roy?
No.
So they're all home games, essentially, for the MLS teams.
Debatable.
What I'm trying to tell you is...
Debatable. Depends how you define home game.
It does not signal any sort of shift. How many CONCACAF Champions League, or what's it called now? The CONCACAF Champions Cup or whatever.
Yes.
How many have been won by Mexican teams? How many have been won by MLS teams? The answer, if you don't know, is 1. MLS teams have won 1.
Mm-hmm.
In the 2,000-year history of the CONCACAF Champions League, they have won 1 time.
Mm-hmm.
There is very little debate that Liga MX is a better league. It's more competitive. And at the high end, the teams are better than MLS teams. And that is still a fact. It was a fact 20 years ago. It was a fact 10 years ago. It's a fact today. It's a fact when you have your dinner tonight, Roy. That will not change. Liga MX is a better league than MLS. Tell me I'm wrong, Roy. Tell me I'm wrong, because I know I'm not.
How long was that? Was that Sako? Can we do a time check on his monologue?
That was
45 minutes.
That was about 75 minutes. Yeah.
Those were torturous 75. It felt like a week that I was sitting here listening to that.
Okay. What do you got to say?
All I got to say is I disagree. I'm not going to say with 100%. You had a couple little points where I'm like, okay, fine. I'll give him that one. The points I'll give you is, geographically speaking, this is played in the United States of America. That makes it more convenient for MLS teams because they do less travel. They don't have to do the initial trip into another country. Liga MX teams are staying here. They don't have to make that initial trip. And that's pretty much it. When it comes to home, have you watched any games? I'm not, that's a sarcastic question like all of yours. You haven't watched a single Leagues Cup game, and I know that for a fact. So that's one. Two, you haven't walked the streets of Ciudad de Mexico or Guadalajara to ask anyone what they think the Leagues Cup is, because I guarantee you 100% of Liga MX fans know what Leagues Cup is. 100%. 1,000%. Rocky's saying no as if he has a bunch of Liga MX fans friends. He does not. I do. So, third point, Liga MX fans do not like the Leagues Cup because they play poorly in it. They lose. They get completely destroyed. Club America, the crown jewel of Liga MX, loses to Colorado Rapids. Tigres loses to another team. What was it? Cincinnati.
Penalties, by the way. It wasn't
That's
like,
fine,
you know,
but
they
they
get
lost.
blown out the way the MLS teams get blown out when they go play in Mexico.
This is my main point. You're taking me to my main point, but let me finish this one. Liga MX fans hate this tournament because they do poorly. This is a thing that Liga MX fans have. If their teams don't do well, there's excuses to be made. It's the timing, it's the stadiums, even though pretty much 90% of these games, most of the stadium is in support of that team. Club America games, 100% of the stadium. The Chivas game in LA that I went to, 100% of the stadium was going for Chivas, chanting for Chivas. So this home game thing is beside the point. Your argument that CONCACAF Champions League, that Liga MX wins this every time. Why does Liga MX win this every time, Rocky? If you knew anything about MLS and the MLS schedule, you would know that that tournament starts 4 weeks away from the MLS regular season starting. It's in the middle of the MLS preseason. What's the number one argument for Liga MX fans doing poorly in this tournament? We're only 5 weeks into our season. We haven't figured out our 5 weeks into our season? But where's that argument when MLS has to play when they're 5 weeks away from their season in CONCACAF Champions League? Where is that argument, Rocky? You just pulled up and said Liga MX is better because they do better in this tournament, but disregarded the main argument Liga MX fans have, which is MLS is 20 weeks into the season, we're 5. That's why they win this tournament. That's why we lose 4-0. Yeah.
But if you don't think it's been a priority for MLS teams, you're wrong. MLS teams have tried concertedly to win that tournament and said, yes, we are focused on that tournament. That Atlanta United team back in the day, very focused, and they couldn't win it, right?
They're out of shape, Rocky. They're in their preseason.
They could not win it. They got completely dominated in the final. And that's the issue, is at the top end, the best that MLS has to offer isn't good enough. And that's the problem.
I don't know. I think the best team right now, and I hate to say it because I'm a huge Galaxy fan, the best team in the Americas, not the Americas, Central and North America, is LAFC.
We saw that. We saw that story, and it didn't end well.
Again, if you're making that argument for Champions Cup, you need to make the same argument for Leagues Cup, which is timing. If we're going to have that conversation, let's have that conversation. LAFC starts that tournament when they're 2 weeks into their preseason. They have to start their preseason early. The only games they have is against universities in Los Angeles. That's who their preseason is against. They'll play against Cal State LA. That's who they play to prepare to play against Club America in Champions League.
Okay, so it seems you guys are both in different camps on this, but let's finish with this because I do want to. I think. Yeah, he looks convinced. No, not really.
Look at that smile.
Okay, so here's the question I want to ask, because I think it's an interesting juncture, and the way I position this, obviously, the focus of our show is obviously about national teams and the national pride people have out there for the teams. It's going to be interesting because as Pochettino comes in, I think he's going to look at the entire player pool. So moving forward, do you feel like it's a better move for players, excluding what happens circumstantially, to play in the MLS or Liga MX at this point in time in their career, given the opportunity?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
My answer is no. No, on both counts.
Can't do that.
Don't
You
play in
can't do
MLS.
that.
Don't play Liga MX.
That's not the
Stay
question.
away. Stay away from the Americas.
Not the question,
Go play
damn it.
somewhere else. Get a ticket to Europe and find your way. Take the train around. Go play in
Oh,
the
there he goes.
Netherlands, in Sweden, in Denmark, in France, in Germany, in England, in the second
Oh, God.
division of England, in
There he
Italy.
goes.
Do not stay in the Americas.
All right, can you answer the
Because
question
that's
now?
where MLS and Liga MX have something in common. Players
Yes,
that
okay.
play well in those leagues do not translate to the international level. I'm
Okay, so
talking
let
about
me
some
ask it
prime
like
examples.
this. Let me ask
Okay?
it like this,
That's
Roy,
the
and let's
question.
turn it over to Roy. Which is a better feeder then, I guess, for the potential to go to Europe, and as well, what is a better feeder for the national team as well?
Okay, I will say, though I disagree with his tone, this aggressive tone he has, I do agree that Americans should go overseas, 100%. You should seek the best quality soccer that currently is overseas. Now, which is the best feeder? 1,000% MLS. Look at Liga MX and the problems they're having with their national team. Their national team problems are directly attributed to their league's inability and unwillingness to send players overseas. They're overpricing these players. They're pricing them out of moves to Europe. And as a result, these players are stagnating. They're playing in leagues that aren't as good as they are, and their level drops significantly, and so does the level of their national team. So that is the problem Mexico is having. That is not a problem we are having. MLS does a phenomenal job of letting players go and achieve their dreams, of letting players go the moment they're ready to go, sometimes even before they're ready to go, which I have a little bit of an issue with. I wish they would develop a little bit more and then go. But MLS, I would argue, is one of the better feeder leagues in the world. Maybe one of the best. Not in terms of volume, but in terms of willingness of the league to develop and then send off at the right time. MLS is excellent in that manner.
Yeah, I honestly actually agree with you, Roy. I don't think that there's any debate that the MLS is a better training ground. Players go to MLS and then can use that as a leapfrog to Europe. We've heard a lot about, but these American players playing in Mexico, honestly, it hasn't worked out.
No,
I'm thinking of
never
Alex
does.
Mendejas, right, who really is good
Yeah.
in the Mexican league, but hasn't translated to the national team, right? Remember Omar Gonzalez had some time, and it was at Pachuca, I think, and really
great.
never looked good for the U.S. national team. We've had example after example, and honestly, it just doesn't translate. So I do agree with you there. The MLS is a better feeder league. The MLS has produced, I think, some really incredible stories of young players going abroad for how young the league is.
Yeah.
Yep. And look at Brandon Vasquez now and Cade Cowell now, the two latest that transferred over the last months. They're doing well. They're doing very well. Cade Cowell is one of the most loved players in Guadalajara right now, if not the most loved. But where does he go next? Is he going to jump from MLS to Liga MX to Europe? Unlikely. If he wanted to go to Europe, staying in MLS, maybe not San Jose, but staying in MLS would have been the better option.
Yeah. So let's see how this all plays out. Of course, for those who want to watch the Leagues Cup, they can go to Roy's house and watch it with him. For everyone
I
else,
have every game on. I have Apple
I
TV.
think your house could have everybody that wants to watch the League Cup. You can put all 30 people. You just, grill up some meat. They can all come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some Argentinian meat. I'll grill it up. We'll watch. I could fit 9 in my home.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
So for
No
those
haters
watching,
invited. Rocky, you could watch from the outside. Okay. I'll leave my blinds
on his phone.
Yeah, on your phone.
Yeah, but
He doesn't have Apple TV Plus, so
I'm watching the Korean Pro League at that time. So
nice,
Oh, wow.
nice. For those watching on YouTube and enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with another exciting video on that front.